All right, welcome to our Board of Advisors podcast. We're here at our Q1 2026 event in Dallas at the Ritz-Carlton Las Colinas Resort. And sitting next to me is Dr. Kiran Dintyala, also known as Dr. Calm. Thank you for joining us on this podcast.
My pleasure, Ben.
Great to see you, brother. So, you're a medical doctor.
Right.
Why is it that you say you advocate for meditation more than medication?
Well, there are lots of things that medications cannot solve. And as a medical doctor, I have seen that firsthand. Of course, medications are important. When you add meditation, you make them far more powerful. The patient's health and ability to heal and cut down all the anxiety around their health issues. I'm a stress management expert and I write books on the topic and I teach meditation, and I have seen again and again in my patients, when they do meditation, their requirement of medications go down.
Interesting. So why do you think that is? Why do you think once they incorporate something as easy as meditation, why do they see better results?
It's very simple. I'll give an example. I had a patient. She was diagnosed with cancer. Lots of anxiety, worry about it. And then her blood pressure was like 170 over 90, which is high, and she was already on medications, and that was not doing it. And I said, okay, would you be willing to try some meditation? And so I sat with her in the hospital, closed the room, I told no one to disturb us. Just 10 minutes, her blood pressure came down.
Wow, that's incredible.
She was feeling much calmer, less anxious. Wow, okay, this is really good. That's the reason. And research shows, I think there is an article in 2017, I believe, in Lancet journal, published by Harvard. And it showed that when people are stressed, they have a higher risk of having heart attacks, strokes, high blood pressure, so many other problems. And research proves not only that, migraines, right? Headaches, diabetes, autoimmune diseases, cancer, everything is linked to stress. And by practicing meditation, that is one of the ways to cut down stress. By practicing meditation, you can reduce the disease burden so much. And this is simple, doesn't cost you much. You can just practice for free, right? If once you learn the technique, that's it.
Interesting. So how did you start on your meditation journey? What kind of led you to that path?
Yeah. So it was 18 years ago, in 2007, when I was going through tremendous amount of stress myself. And at that time I had no clue what stress is prior to that. And during that time, I stumbled upon certain meditation techniques. One of my friends gave me a book and started reading it.
Which book was it? What was the first book that you read about it?
Yeah. So it is a book based on an Indian saint's teaching. His name is Paramahamsa Yogananda.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Part of the Self-Realization Fellowship. And so in that technique, I practiced. I literally read probably a couple of pages of the technique, sat down. I still remember it was 8 p.m. at night, sat on the floor, closed my eyes, and did it. And all of a sudden, this feeling of ease, that anxiety resolving, there's some kind of peace. Oh, wow, this is amazing with the kind of stress that I was going through at that time, and I had no tools, no resources. I had no clue what to do, essentially. Immediately stopped all of that. This is powerful. And then as I continued, I started seeing such positive results in my life. I say, calmness is the catalyst for success and happiness. And meditation is one of the most powerful ways to that calmness. The first thing is that think that meditation is just a practical tool. It is not religious. You can call it spiritual, that is fine. For me, especially as a physician, I'm looking at it as a practical tool to calm people's mind, to cut down the anxiety, reduce the stress, and feel better. Once you understand that, okay, got it. All right, now what should I do? Right? The next thing is differentiate between relaxation and meditation. When you're meditating, relaxation is a prerequisite for good meditation. Yes. But now you see how my posture is changing. I am sitting upright, closing my eyes. One of the most common things to do is look at the spiritual eye. That is the focus of concentration. And this posture is important because you do not want a crooked spine. When you're like that, the energy is not going to flow well from the base of your spine to the top of, your spiritual eye. And because of that, people won't be able to meditate properly. And once you are here, at the right posture and do the right technique, automatically you're going to feel so calm. All the restless thoughts in your mind come to a halt if you do the technique properly. People do not do it properly because they were never taught, And then that's it. And what is the end point of meditation, right? The real end point is you attain a mental state where there is not even a flicker of restless thought. And you suddenly feel this deep peace. It's like you're touching that sacred peace within you. When you feel that, wow, even it's a moment. And now the longer you can hold it, the better it becomes, the deeper your peace and joy. And you start feeling this joy is emanating from you. And you start losing your attachment to all the external that, I need that to be happy, I need this to be happy. All that is going to go out of the window. You feel adequate. You feel secure from within. So, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. So we were literally talking about this as we were sitting outside.
Right.
I think the challenge for most people is they're consistently running a program. They're unconscious, right? It's like that same pattern that runs every single day. And when you run the same pattern every single day, the emotions that you create are basically the same.
Right.
And as you experience it, right, it basically leads into a predictable future as well. So can you impart some strategies or ways that they can break out of that unconsciousness to become more conscious in the present moment? Is there anything that you can share with the audience?
Oh, absolutely. So awareness is the most important thing. Last night I was having a discussion with one of the people, and if you're not aware that there is a problem, you cannot fix it. So I developed something called Check Your Stress Meter. It's a stress scoring system. It also gives you what I call is your stress IQ score. So you know, I have been stressed all this time and I didn't even know it. I just had another conversation with the person this morning, and she said all of a sudden a few years ago, she had this major health problem. And she thought she was always happy and all of that, and she never had stress. But the doctors told her, oh my God, this is all happening because you had so much stress in your life.
Mm.
So people may have lots of stress in their lives and they are not at all aware because they're so unconscious about it.
Mm-hmm.
By using the stress score, stress IQ system, they can know so that they can take action. And also it's going to grade your stress levels, and it can do magic for you. And then now you can take action. Okay, I'm here. This is what I need to do. And I have developed this 3-step simple system that anyone can practice. Because years ago in 2007, when I had this experience, mine was more of a sporadic experience.
Mm.
But I started thinking, how can I make it a replicable experience so that people don't have to suffer like I did? Reduce, at least do my part in helping them. So I created that system using my medical knowledge, my insights over the years, and what I learned, during my meditation practices, as well as certain principles of how our mind works.
Mm-hmm.
All this put together, lots of study, system. Now, anyone can do it. And what I say is 20 minutes a day can keep 90% stress away.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's as simple as you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you take a shower, you eat your breakfast, you spend almost 2 hours taking care of your body.
Mm-hmm.
How much time did you really spend taking care of your mind?
Right.
So using this system, it's like a mental brush.
I love that.
You eliminate it every day and you're good.
Yeah.
You sleep well at night.
So we're going to go a little bit deeper. I know we were saying let's try to keep it more superficial, but you mentioned something very interesting.
All right.
So when you said mental plaque, one of the things that I think are scaring a lot of people is Alzheimer's.
Of course.
And it's not just a disease that affects that individual, it literally affects everyone around them.
Right.
So can you speak to how meditation can actually help with, again, reversing some of that? Because again, you have what we call the cerebral spinal fluid, right? That goes, up and down the spine. It's also in the brain as well.
Right.
And, if you perform certain breath work as well, you can actually move the cerebral spinal fluid quicker, right? And then also help the brain to clear out, a lot more of the toxins, what we call the lymphatic system.
Lymphatic system.
Yes. Yeah, so if you can, please, dive a little bit into that.
Absolutely. So number one, stress is definitely one of the biggest factors for Alzheimer's. Of course, there are other things. What you're eating is important, right? And what you're exposed to, the kind of toxins, all those things play a role, no doubt about it. And often, when people are calmer, not only that it helps your brain, less load on it, right? Mm-hmm. They also make better choices when they're eating. Because if not, you're stress eating, you're eating whatever it is, whatever chips and not good, a lot of sugar, not good.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to make better choices in their eating. They're going to sleep better at night. And all these things affect their brain, right? And like you mentioned, the lymphatic system, which is relatively a newer discovery compared to, a regular lymphatic system. The brain has its own cleaning system, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to work better, right? So, and also, what is it called? The BDNF.
Yeah. Which is?
Brain-derived neurotrophic factor. So neurotrophic. So it is very important for plasticity of the brain. And again, your meditation, stress levels being low, proper functioning lymphatic system, all these things work together so that you can maintain your neuroplasticity. Not only that, it is shown that people who are more active, like functionally, they have delayed onset of Alzheimer's, if at all they get it, and reduce the risk of progression, right? So those people who are top intellectuals and, use their brain all the time, being focused, right? That helps a lot. And meditation aids in improving that focus. when you're sitting really in meditation and when you're looking at the spiritual eye and you're getting rid of all the thoughts and so focused and concentrated, it helps a lot. So there's so much benefit, doing this.
That's incredible. And let's speak to stress and eustress, because I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between stress and eustress. So stress is bad stress, right? And eustress is good stress.
Right.
And some people, they say, they just want to wipe out stress.
All right.
Like just out of their lives completely.
Right. Which is not possible.
Exactly. Because again, if you didn't feel stress, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're not consistently stressing your body's not growing either. It's just like in the gym. If you're not consistently, adding the amount of weight reps or, time under tension or slowing the tempo, then you're not building muscle anymore because your body just adapts.
Yeah.
Right. So can you speak to obviously how, meditation creates that, really good stress for you?
Right. Good stress, bad stress. Okay. The way that I define stress is going to clear this in people's mind, any confusion, right? The original definition of stress was coming from somewhere in 1900s, early 1900s. It's basically external pressure, and they looked into, physical pressure, how that actually impacts, and in physics, and then they use the same word to human bodies, right? But the way that I would define, especially in this current world, is it's not so much the physical stress, it's really the psychological stress that is killing people.
Interesting.
Right? Because we are not anymore being chased by tigers or bears, right? We are chased by our own thoughts. Whatever circumstance in life that's happening. Now, so the way that I define stress is, it is simply a state of mind where you're feeling miserable and unhappy. Oh, okay. So you can have pressure from outside, challenges from outside, and you do not have to feel miserable about it. You don't have to feel stressed about it, right? So in a way, you can call it eustress. Things are happening. You're pushing yourself to exercise. You're pushing yourself. There's a cold plunge or something else, a hormetic stress, what they call, right? And that is good stress for you because you're challenging your body, you're challenging your mind. That's good. The real problem is when the psychological stress, the acute stress, what we call the hormetic stress, is a normal physiological response that helps you get better. But when this acute stress becomes chronic stress, that is where the problem is. Means often what I say, chronic stress is nothing but a repetitive, dysfunctional thinking program in your mind. Constantly, on and on and on and on. Something happened yesterday, your boss, let us say, said something, right? Good reason, bad reason, I don't know, whatever it is. And then you're thinking about it. It's done yesterday. And tomorrow, next week, 2 weeks, you constantly think about it. Your boss already forgot about it, probably. Right? But you are still in that loop, like a CD that is stuck. And all that repetitive thinking pattern is going to lead to these bad emotions, right? That state of mind leads to the second stage. I call the state of mind where you're unhappy and miserable as the first stage of stress. The second stage of stress is release of hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine, these things, right? It is a state of mind that has led to release of these hormones. And then you have all these symptoms and signs of stress, which is stage 3. Most people are only aware of stage 3. But if you really go to stage 1 and correct it, automatically stage 2 and stage 3 will disappear. So I hope I answered your question. Good stress, bad stress, acute stress, good stress, hormetic stress is all fine. It's a physiological response. We need it. Bad stress is chronic stress and constant thinking about the problems in your life, which leads to all the other problems.
Amazing. So I'm going to extract something that I don't think maybe a lot of people didn't realize.
Yeah.
So as you're living literally in the past, right? Because you said, that event already happened.
Right.
People don't realize that their mind is so powerful that their thoughts can actually create the physiological hormonal patterns in the body. So how can they, first of all, become aware of it, where they realize that they're living in the past, but they also have the ability to control their own thoughts, right? And also the physiological response that occurs. So how would you recommend meditation to really kind of overcome that?
Right. So the first thing I say to my patients or when I'm speaking is that, especially when I'm doing a meditation or a relaxation exercise, I say, look, past is nothing but a memory in your mind. It's already gone. But it was 1 minute ago, 5 minutes ago, 20 years ago, it's gone. It only exists in your mind as a memory. And only to the extent you bring it to the present, it bothers you. And of course, sometimes you're unconscious of it and still bothering you, But if you can really let it go from your body and mind, and there are ways to do it, it's done. The only purpose of the past is to learn from it and move on. And I also say, future is a figment of your imagination. What am I going to do tomorrow? What is it going to be 10 days from now or 10 years from now? All the planning, oh my God, I got it. It's here. It's not yet here. Only in your mind. Right? You're imagining stuff. And we often tend to imagine much more worse outcomes than what they will be typically.
Absolutely.
Right? So once you realize that both the past and future don't really exist anywhere else except in your own thoughts and your own mind. So there's only one moment that's happening, and I prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. Take a deep breath. Now release. Right? Now can you do both at the same time? Taking in the breath and releasing the breath at the same time?
No.
Right? So there's only one thing that you can really do. And there is only really one moment. That is this moment.
I love that.
The previous breath is
so
gone.
Powerful. Yeah.
The next breath is not yet here. Only one thing. So if you can really anchor yourself into this present moment, that's it. There is only and then automatically the past and future lose grip on you. That doesn't mean that you should not plan for a better future, but this is the place to operate. Once you made your plans, this, whatever it is, write it down, all that, operate here. And the good future will automatically follow.
Amazing. I love that. So let the audience know where they can get a hold of you or get in touch with you.
Oh, sure. Well, you can simply type in Dr. Kam or Kiran Dintyala, MD, and then there's lots of information on Google about me. But to more directly contact me, you can email me at drkam.md@gmail.com. You can also go to drkam.world, my website. You could also get this book, Calm in the Midst of Chaos. Yes, I mean chaos. Yes, lots of chaos right now in life, right?
If you love this episode, please like, comment, or subscribe, and we shall see you soon. Take care. Dr. Kam, absolute pleasure.
Thank you.